audio. It's recording. It's recording. Here we go. I've been thinking a lot lately. There's a question that's been sitting in the back of my mind for quite a while now. And the more I've thought about it, the more I've realized it could fundamentally change what the Brisbane Channel becomes in the years ahead. The question is this: what if there was a different way, a better way, to develop a deeper understanding of the place we call home? I mean, it's kind of what I've been trying to do on the channel since I started it, exploring Greater Brisbane, trying to understand how it works, what's changing, who's shaping it, and what it all means for those of us who live here. But the longer I've done this, the more I've realized something. For a long time, I thought the biggest limitation of the Brisbane Channel was simply that there was only one of me. There are stories that I never get to cover. People I'd love to interview but never seem to find the time. Sometimes I do interview them, but I don't have the time to put it together in a video. There's places I've wanted to visit for years. Ideas that stay sitting in notebooks because I can't get to them. I assumed that was the biggest challenge, that there simply wasn't enough time. But over the last year or so, I've started to realize that's actually not the biggest limitation. Because even if I somehow found enough hours in the day to cover every story I'd ever wanted to cover, every one of those stories would still be explored through the eyes of one person. One person's experiences, one person's interests, assumptions, blind spots. And that's just because I'm human. And that's when I realized I'd been asking the wrong question. Rather than asking, how do I cover more stories? I think the better question is, how do I cover them in a deeper way, a more balanced, complex, and nuanced way? Because those are two very different things. The more I've explored Greater Brisbane, the more I've realized just how impossible it is for any one person to truly understand a place like this. And that's probably one of the best things about it. Within these 5 local government areas, you've got millions of people, hundreds of suburbs and communities, people from all kinds of backgrounds, cultures and professions, each experiencing Greater Brisbane in their own way. A planner looks at the city differently from an engineer. An ecologist notices things an economist might never think about. Someone who's lived here their entire life sees Brisbane differently from someone who arrived 6 months ago. A university researcher, a small business owner, a bus driver, a nurse, an architect, a community volunteer, they'll all notice different things. They'll ask different questions. They'll bring different experiences to the same story. And none of them are wrong simply because they don't see everything. That's actually the thing. Every one of us sees the world through our own experiences. We've got particular things that we're naturally drawn to. But each one of us also has things we overlook. I've actually come to think that's one of the most important lessons this channel has taught me. Understanding doesn't grow because one person works harder. It grows because different people notice different things. Different people ask different questions. And different people can challenge each other's assumptions. And I've been thinking, if that's true, if developing a deeper understanding of Greater Brisbane genuinely depends on bringing together different perspectives, then shouldn't the Brisbane Channel reflect that as well? Because if this channel is really about understanding Greater Brisbane, it probably shouldn't only reflect my understanding of it. No matter how balanced I try to be, no matter how much I try to look at different perspectives and not let my own biases affect the content, the reality is I'm human and it's impossible to be completely unaffected by my own worldview and even my own prejudices. And that's what I've been thinking about. Not simply how to build a bigger YouTube channel, not simply how to make more videos, but how to build something that's actually consistent with what this channel has gradually become. Because if understanding grows through exploration, and exploration is strengthened by different perspectives, then perhaps the Brisbane Channel shouldn't just talk about those ideas. Perhaps it should embody them. For quite a while now, I've had this picture in my mind of what that might look like. A community of people who are genuinely curious, people who love asking questions, people who enjoy discovering things most of us never get to see, people who are willing to challenge their own ideas just as readily as they challenge somebody else's, people who care about understanding before judging, people who can disagree respectfully, learn from one another, and together develop a deeper understanding than any one of us could ever reach alone. But this isn't just about bringing together people who like discussing ideas. It's also about creating opportunities for people to put their curiosity, knowledge, and skills into practice. Maybe you're studying journalism and looking for somewhere to put what you're learning into practice. Maybe you've become really good at editing but haven't had a chance to work on projects that genuinely excite you. Maybe you understand social media, short-form video, graphic design, data, mapping, writing, audio production, or any of the countless other skills that could help people engage with this place in new ways. Maybe you're fascinated by transport, housing, ecology, or local history, and you'd love to help tell those stories. Or maybe you've never made a video in your life, but you've spent years building knowledge around something most people never get to see. You may already be highly experienced, or you may be looking for somewhere to learn. You may want to work mainly behind the scenes, or you may eventually want to present, interview people, or develop stories of your own. The point is that this could become a place where you can contribute what you already know, develop skills you want to strengthen, and learn from others while producing something of genuine public value. I was going so well too. While producing something of genuine public value. Because different perspectives alone aren't enough. We need people who can investigate them, communicate them, and bring them to life. And I think the Brisbane Channel could provide a rare kind of opportunity to do that. A place where someone can gain real-world experience without being treated merely as free labor. Where people can take responsibility for meaningful work while still receiving guidance and support. Where a question can become an interview, a documentary, a short video, a photograph, an article, a map, a podcast conversation, or maybe even something we've never even thought of yet. Not every contribution would need to become a major production. Not everyone would need to contribute in the same way, but together we could explore more of Greater Brisbane, tell a wider range of stories, and create work that none of us could produce alone. I'd love this to become a community of people who think differently, who bring different life experiences, different professions, different skills, different interests, different values. Because I don't think understanding comes from surrounding ourselves with people who see the world exactly the same way as us, as comfortable as we may feel doing that. I think understanding really grows when thoughtful people with different perspectives are prepared to explore ideas together with honesty, respect, and curiosity. To me, that's an exciting idea, because if we can build something like that, I honestly think it has the potential to become much more than a YouTube channel. It could become a genuinely different way of developing a deeper understanding of Greater Brisbane. And it's not so much about ending up with all the answers. I don't think you ever have all the answers. It's more about asking better questions. And because we'd ask them together. Now, I should probably point out that I don't have this all figured out. I don't have an organizational chart. I don't have a 5-year plan or any of that kind of thing. And I don't even know if this will go anywhere, if I'm honest. But I think it's worth a try. It's definitely a path I'd like to start down. And if there's one thing that this channel has taught me over the years, it's that understanding isn't something you arrive at. It's a journey, something you keep developing. Every story raises new questions. Every conversation adds another perspective. Every person notices something someone else missed. And that's exactly what makes exploring Greater Brisbane so rewarding. So here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to bring together a small group of people who feel the same way. Not because I need more people to help make videos, although over time I'm sure that will happen, but because I think there's an opportunity to build something that's bigger than any one person. A community of people who genuinely enjoy exploring, who want to understand this place more deeply, who are excited by discovering what's around the next corner, who are willing to challenge their own ideas, who respect people even when they disagree with them, who care about quality, who care about integrity, who believe that developing a deeper understanding of this special part of the world is a journey worth taking. If you're watching this and something about what I've shared resonates with you, I'd love to hear from you. Below this video, there's a link to a form. It's simply a chance for us to get to know each other, to understand what you're curious about, what you'd like to contribute, what you'd like to learn. Then, once I've had a chance to read through everything, I'd love to organize an initial get-together. No commitments, no expectations, just a chance for people who share this vision to meet, get to know one another, throw around some ideas, and see what this could become. Maybe nothing comes of it. Maybe it becomes something beyond what any of us could have imagined. Who knows? But I think it's worth finding out. Because maybe there really is a different way to build something special. A community of people who move beyond politics and even their own preconceived ideas to develop a deeper understanding of the place we all call home. And if there is, I don't think it's something one person can discover alone. But I do think it's something we can build together.